Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. And we got another recap. This one is Ready to Love Season 6, Episode 11 recap. And this particular episode is called All in the Family because, yeah, the ladies get to meet the men's families. And oh my God, we're almost at the end of the season. Can you guys believe it? So we're down to next week being the season finale. And of course, we got to stay tuned for those two reunions, part one and part two, because you know it's going to get crazy. But before we jump into this recap, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash that like button and drop a comment down in the comment section below. So, without further ado, let's talk about these remaining couples. So, first, we're going to talk about Paul and DaKia. Um, I don't know about you guys, but to me, it seems a little bit awkward between these two. And it's definitely acknowledged being that they're at this situation this late in the game. And I mean, honestly, it looks awkward. Um, there hasn't really been a lot of time for both Paul and DaKia to really get to know each other to the point where even she feels comfortable originally of meeting his younger brother. I mean, it really didn't make sense at this point, but the process is rushed because she had a little bit of hesitation, but eventually she does go along. Now, when she does meet the brother, after she decides to go, the brother likes her, and Paul is even more sure in his mind that DaKia is a match. But you can tell DaKia is still, from what we see, it still looked like she's kind of iffy about everything. Um, I don't know. It looks more like strong friend energy, not per se boyfriend or husbandry energy. And I mean, with that, yeah, it's, I don't know if they're going to end up as being, and we'll have to see, but I don't know about them being part of the final couples, right? But yeah, it's, I don't know, it's pretty interesting to watch. So let's talk about these crew. So for the most part, I mean, what we have left with Carmen and Donovan and Joy and Clifton. Joy and Clifton has pretty much been the golden couple this season. They did hit a bit of a road bump, not with his family, who it seems they absolutely adore her. But because of the fact that she's traveling 6 months out of the year, which, yeah, it looks like that could be a potential issue. Now, let's not get it twisted. Clifton said he does like to travel. So I don't know. Maybe it's not as big as it actually seems, but not being able to be with her on a regular, consistent basis for a half a year, it's definitely going to require a lot of quality communication, and it could bring some serious testing to the relationship. Now, let's talk about Donovan and Carmen. Now, it seemed like there's definitely no issues there because Donovan's mom absolutely loves and adore Carmen. Despite her being the type of mom who seemingly thinks no one is good for her son. Now, though, with the way he talks, his mom doesn't even really meet too many of anybody that he's, dated. And then what about the part where Carmen is also being a single mom? That definitely touched her heartstrings. And any preconceived notions that she had, that went right out the window because she was all good. So I don't know. I honestly think that these two are probably going to be our final couple so far. But we're not done quite yet because we got to talk about this trio. And this particular trio, which is Demetrius, Sabrina, and Donovan. Now, When it comes to Sabrina, it seems like she's pretty much checked out at this point. I mean, with Donovan, his concerns that he had, that he expressed, and the criticisms that he had, she saw it as being an attack. I mean, she called him a bitter child or bitter baby, I think it was, versus seeing him just stating what he wants and what he don't want. um but she has absolutely no desire at this point to go any further or reconcile anything with Donovan. So absolutely nothing happens between them except they start throwing shade at each other with the comments during each of their confessionals. So they are done. Now with Demetrius, however, she don't want to meet his family. She bowed out of that because she just doesn't think that they can work things out in the timeline that's left remaining for the show. Um, yeah. So as we saw, she ended up, because remember there was a deliberation and she was at the bottom, and it looks like Demetrius had to have one final conversation Tommy told him to have, and before he can even try to figure out what's going on next, she pretty much ended it herself. So that's when she chose to self eliminate. And because he has no other connections, Demetrius self eliminated as well. Now, I mean, here's the thing, because I've saw a lot of Facebook comments and ideas and stories of what they thought about her choice. You had some people that said, "Hey, she's kind of like the Sabrina from the previous season who got to the end, realized that her person is not there, and she decided to just it's a no go, and she moved forward." Other people I saw comments of her being too independent, and maybe her standards are too high. You know, I mean, listen, you get to choose what standards you want to have for yourself. The question is, whatever the outcome that you want has to match the standards that you put out there. So, and energy is reflective. So you're going to meet what you put out. You are who you attract. So my thing is with her, whatever, if she want to be married, if she want to eventually be in a long-term relationship, or whatever that is, whatever her standards and what she's looking for, hopefully it gives her the outcome that she's looking for. That's the only thing, because you can have whatever standards you want. The question is, are you going to get the results from it? And so that's what she has to consider. And if she's okay with just living out the rest of her life, and if her outcome doesn't come into fruition with the standards that she put out, then hey, it's hers. But everybody at some point have to do what is called a reevaluation. And so you have to look at what do I want for myself? What do I want out of life? Do I want to be married? Do I want to have children? Whatever it is, whatever your core values are and the outcomes that you want, you have to be putting things in place in order for those outcomes to come to fruition. So hopefully she gets that. But obviously it wasn't either of these two men, because her biggest issue with Demetrius was the whole thing with the submission. And I've already discussed that topic in the previous recap. And then with the situation with Donovan, him not being just recently out of a relationship, and his other connection with Carmen was an issue for her. And she was pretty much like, you know what? Nope, I'm just going to bow out gracefully. There's nobody left here with a connection, and I'm out of here. Kind of like what Ace did. Ace was like, you know what? Uh, Laverne is gone. I don't have any other connections. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. So we'll have to keep a watch. We'll definitely get more details on what happened with each of these folks after the season, at the reunion, whatever it is. But yeah, so. But for the most part, I honestly think that these two couples are probably going to be our final two. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, Joy and Clifton, Carmen and Donovan. And then we also got Paul is still out there with DaKia, and we kind of touched on them a little bit earlier. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, in regards to um the remaining couples. We're down to one, maybe three more episodes. The season finale next week, and then of course the reunion part one and part two before we head over into Miami season. So I don't know. How do you think the show is going? I really honestly don't see any solid connections this season. I mean, Joy and even though I think these two couples are going to go down to the final, but I don't know because I mean, with Carmen and Donovan, I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I would say the strongest out of everybody is Joy and Clifton. But yeah. Next, oh, and also too, with this particular couple at Deliberation, it was interesting how Paul was over the moon about DaKia, and Tommy was like, "What make you think all that? You thinking that she's the one for you?" And even you can tell DaKia, I want to pronounce her name correctly, DaKia, even have a little bit of reservations on whether they're ready for that between her and Paul. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I think at the end, Clifton and Joy, Carmen and Donovan. Um, it's possible with DaKia and Paul. I don't know if she's going to say yes at the end. These two will probably go to the end, but will she say yes is the question. Um, so I mean, let me know what you guys think. I mean, last season we really had nobody that stayed together except that came out at the finale of it all, except Camille and Cornelius, who were eliminated early, and then Nia and Zadia. And they're currently still together. And I don't know if you caught their live or interviews, because both Cornelius and Camille did a couple of interviews this past week, and they got big trips. They went to a Colorado vacation, and they're going to Bali this summer, and trying to talk about going to Dubai later in the year. So those two are pretty much hanging tight. And it's just so unfortunate that if you want to promote a show called Ready to Love, that you need to actually have solid couples that can actually be the highlight for the show. Whereas, just like I said about Married at First Sight Australia, both of their couples this season are villains. Both of the couples. And it seemed like the couples that stayed together from season five of Ready to Love, those two couples were labeled as villains. So I don't know is it more about the drama than the love? I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I'm here for the romance myself. I like to see the couples outside of the show, some of the things they do away from editing and the cameras, and see how they continue to grow. Because the truth is going to come out. Usually it comes out in the real world, not in the TVREEL world, So, well, we're like I said, we're coming down to the end. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this recap. Do you think they need to revamp the show? One of the things that I heard in a live interview is that one of the things they need to change is, if a person find their person early on, why do they need to be eliminated? Is there a way to isolate that couple if they don't want to circular date and build other connections when they already know who they want to be with? I mean, that was some conversation that I've had with other people, and like I said, I saw it on the live. Why won't you save those couples who actually made solid connections, so therefore you can really build upon something to be the foundation of the show? So that's just my soapbox on that particular topic. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.